The Merchants House of Glasgow is a hidden treasure set in the very heart of Glasgow's city centre. This unique and magnificent luxury venue is steeped in history and character. Located on George Square, the hall sits opposite Queen Street Station and is only a short walk from Central Station and Buchanan Street bus station. The house is a stunning Victorian building offering a unique venue space within the city. Built in 1877 by esteemed Scottish architect John Burnet, the Merchants House is a building of elegance, distinction and grandeur, with over 400 years of history stretching from 1601 to the present day. Its first home in 1601 was at the Bridge Gate, or Briggate, the short street running between the Salt Market and the old Glasgow Bridge at the foot of Stockwell Street, by the River Clyde. The original Merchants' Hall, or hospital as it was known, was rebuilt on the same site in 1659. Its steeple still stands today, forming part of the restored former fish market building. In April 2009, the Merchants House donated the steeple to the City of Glasgow as part of the city's Heritage Trail. Today, the house incorporates many key features from the original building. Here we see a stone dated 1601 in the Lord Dean's room, which is brought from the Briggate, while the original door stands proudly on our second floor. This carved relief is said to have come from the hospital of 1659, where it was positioned above its main entrance. The three merchants shown are said to be the first Dean of Guild, Matthew Turnbull, Archibald Faulds, the first collector of the house, and Archibald Highgate, town clerk of the City of Glasgow. The relief ship carving also came from the hospital and was a symbol of the future of 17th century Glasgow and a reminder that the merchants were overseas traders. The stained glass window located in the Lord Dean's room depicts the first Lord Dean of Guild and the signing of the Letter of Gildry back in 1605. The hospital was the meeting place of the Merchants House and the administrative hub. It also served as an almshouse for pensioners and a centre of assistance for those in need. The Lord Dean of Guild's Council was set up to regulate entry to membership of the house and to collect fines from the merchants of the city. Entry money was distributed by the council to aid the beneficiaries of the day, their wives, children and others in distress. The Merchants House is now a registered charity. The distribution of funds may have changed over the centuries, but it still provides support to individuals and charities throughout the City of Glasgow and beyond. Our mortification boards, along with the recently installed donations board, tell individual stories of generous giving to the Merchants House. Notable donations have been received from several of Glasgow's historical figures. Lord Inverclyde, Lord Dean of Guild from 1902 to 1904, created the Inverclyde Bequest. This tells of money donated by the second Lord Inverclyde, chairman of the shipping company Cunard. The monies were used to support charities or institutions connected with seamen or for the benefit of aged or infirm seamen and their families. To this day, the Merchants House still distributes funds from the Inverclyde Bequest. James Buchanan, born in 1785, was the son of a blacksmith in Stockwell. He spent most of his time in his father's workshop, where he came to the attention of two West India merchants who were frequent customers. They employed him and sent him to work in Grenada when he was just 15 years old. He then became office manager at 22, then a managing partner, and went on to work in Kingston, Jamaica and Rio de Janeiro. He retired relatively young but extremely wealthy, and on his death in 1857 left £10,000 to the Merchants House. George Craig was a consulting chemist and chemical engineer who considered that he and the other members of his family had been handicapped in early life by lack of advantages. He died in 1931, and in his handwritten will he directed that most of his estate be used to provide funding to orphan children who would benefit from education, thus creating the George Craig Trust. To this day, the fund still provides financial assistance for education, as envisaged by George Craig himself. John Morgan, born on 7th of December 1809, left the greater part of his estate, over £70,000, to the Merchants House, and the Morgan Mortification was founded. This remains a separate endowment fund used to assist the work of the George Craig Trust today. The 59th Lord Dean of Guild, John Aird, elected in 1696, was said to have arrived in the city of Glasgow from Galston, Ayrshire. Between 1705 and 1722, he was also elected Lord Provost of Glasgow no fewer than 10 times. In 1695, he was also said to have commissioned William Waddell to paint the Scripture Rules Board. This sets out the rules for buying and selling of commodities in the city. William Waddell was also given the task of painting many of the mortification boards we see around the Grand Merchants' Hall, as well as the boards detailing the names of all the Lord Deans of Guild and their dates of office. The Merchants' House continued its association with the medical welfare of pensioners. William McEwen, who came to work in the city in 1827 and later became Lord Dean twice, is best known for his charitable works and directorship of the Royal Infirmary. It is largely due to his efforts that a medical school was set up at the infirmary. He also created a relief fund to assist those who had suffered when the City of Glasgow Bank crashed in 1878. The fund distributed some £400,000 to those who suffered the most from the bank's failure. Kirkman Finlay, born in 1773 and died in 1842, had worldwide trading connections and was one of the earliest Glasgow merchants to trade with India. As Lord Provost and MP to the city, he made an important political contribution. In 1821, he built his home, Castle Toward. The castle, now owned by the City of Glasgow, is used as an outdoor education centre for children from the city and surrounding areas. The Merchants' House of Glasgow remains today one of Glasgow's most prestigious institutions, playing an important and unique role in the life of the city. Charitable grants and benefits are given to a wide range of charities in the social, health, educational and cultural sectors in Glasgow and the west of Scotland. The board, made up of 41 voluntary directors selected from local business and professional communities, is responsible for the good governance of the house and its assets, which include the A-listed Merchants' House building itself. The head of the Merchants' House, the Lord Dean of Guild, is elected annually by the members of the House and normally serves for 2 consecutive years. The Lord Dean is Glasgow's second citizen and is engaged virtually on a daily basis in the civic life of Glasgow, supporting the Lord Provost, deputies and bailies in their work in promoting our great city. As an honorary member of Glasgow City Council, they attend all full council meetings. All net income from the Merchants' House is applied to charitable purposes. With this in mind, the Merchants' House of Glasgow can claim to be Glasgow's oldest and most prestigious social enterprise.